What does due diligence mean in real estate? In this video, I'm going to talk about the do's, the don'ts, 5 very specific D's, I call them. That's going to make sure your deals get done right and you don't end up in court or probate. And yeah, I'm going to weave in some horror stories. You're going to promise you're going to want to know this. Get a pen and paper, hurry. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 4 different things, right? I'm going to talk about the number 1 place to never do due diligence. I'm going to talk about the 5 Ds that I just spoke of, that I write about in my Wealth Cycle book. I'm going to give you 7 questions you should always ask every time you do due diligence, and then just 4 overarching due diligence areas that umbrella the whole thing. So we got a lot of content. I hope you went and got that piece of paper. If you didn't, go run now. So let's start with number 1. Where do you never go? Due diligence is this bathroom wall called the internet. And ever since the pandemic happened, everyone and everybody went to the internet, and everybody thinks they're going to make money online. And a lot of it's scam. A lot of people are full of it. They say, oh, I'm making all these money. I can ask a few questions and I know it's not true. So it's cute. So, I call it the bathroom wall because anybody can write anything. So be very careful out there and don't use it. It's just an interesting spot. What you do want to use is you want to go to my Millionaire Maker book. And I wrote a chapter on due diligence. And inside, I actually give you a form. And I'll give you a link to that form at the end. And it's what I call the 5 Ds. And it's going to help you make sure that you have a decision point. So number 1, and actually, I'm going to go back and say what you should do is download the form. And actually, I've had people literally make pads out of it, which I'm totally fine that you go down to a coffee shop and it's like a due diligence pad. And if you walked around and look at different real estate deals, each deal gets a different note section. So the 5 overall, and then we're going to come back and talk about them, right? Is there's data, there's the discussion, there's the discovery, which includes then your diagnostics and then your decision. So this isn't like an emotional thing that you need to be worrying about. And I think too many people make emotional decisions. And women, I'm speaking to you. God put me in this woman body to pick on you. So I get us to do it stronger than men because I'm not going to hurt your little feelings. You have to get your emotions out of here and get your, brains in. I came up with the new, book I'm going to have to write, emotional intelligence, which is genius work. But when we're talking about due diligence, it's strategic intelligence. So you take the emotion out and say, what do I need to look at? So you need to look at the data, right? What is the actual P&L, the balance sheet, the market research, whatever asset you're looking at. I love buying and flipping little companies. Yeah, I've done some big companies, but I like the little ones. I like the nimble little coffee shops, the pizzerias, the hair salons, easy service-based companies. You can flip those, make 50 to 100 grand like that. Pretty simple stuff. And you got to go through the data. Then you go through the discussion. You say, well, who am I discussing? Well, you're discussing with the seller, number 1. You're discussing with your team. And if you don't have a team, you need a team. You're discussing with your CPA. You're discussing with me, your mentor. Specifically, you might have a coach from our organization in a very specific thing, whether it's business flipping or real estate or whatever you're working on, fintech. So then you have discussions, and that is about opinions. It's about digesting. It's about digging in. It's about sharing other people's experiences, pros, cons, all of that. Then you go into a whole nother place of discovery, right? And there is a whole checklist that I have inside my, again, the Wealth Cycle Investing book. What are you looking for in your discovery, right? So I'm looking for monetized databases. People always ask me, what's the number 1 thing when I go into a business that I look for? Is there a database that's been monetized? A little story about that is when I bought a pizzeria years and years ago, they didn't have a database like per se, like a technical one, but they had a black book. Seriously, it was a black book. It was a really broken up little black book. Every page of the black book, it had every family, every address, because it was a delivery pizza service, every phone number, and every order the family had ever done. So knowing what I know about marketing, you can pretty much trend that and say every Sunday or whatever night, the XYZ family is going to order cheese pizza for their kids, pepperoni or meat lovers or whatever the heck they order, and you just start a text service. So honestly, that's what we did. And we recreated and monetized into a proper database, and that's why, I had a nice upsell on that sale. So you're looking for discovery. What's there? Is it a management problem? When we took over Ford dealership last year, it was a management problem. It was not a product problem. In some situations, having owned a supplement company, it was a product problem. Is it a marketing problem? Is it a sales problem? What's your discovery show you? So through your discussion, right, the data that you're getting in your discovery, you have a diagnosis, right? Is it going to work? Do you have a marketing plan? Is there a sales plan that can make it work? And I'm talking about a lot of industries, even beyond real estate. But you put the same information into the diagnostics, and then you make a decision. Is it right? Yes or no? And here's my favorite activity for my mentoring students. If no's the answer, what would make it a yes? What would have to change in the dynamics? That's when you really start digging into due diligence. If you have to make something that today would be a no, a yes, what is it? Is it just the timing? Is it the management? Is it the marketing? Is the rents aren't enough? Is the price not enough? The financing not working? Start really thinking strategically about why you are and are not making decisions financially, especially in real estate. So I hope those 5 helped you, and I want you to dig in. Again, I'm going to give you that form at the end in a link in the description, so you can go back and dig in. Now, there's 7 questions that you always need to be asking on top of all of that. So again, is the deal congruent with your money rules? And I'm going to speak specifically to cannabis because that is the big, elephant in a lot of people's rooms, right? I grew up in Nebraska, right? It's still a federally illegal drug, right? Marijuana is. But I have marijuana licenses in Nevada. I love medical marijuana. My brand's Mom's Meds. But there are people who literally will not invest because they have no congruency for the drug of cannabis. So that's an example of it's just not congruent with your money rules or your values. So number 2 is what's your exit? I think so many people get into things, including relationships, and they don't know how they're going to get out. So are you getting in with a team? Is there business partners? I mean, if you want this property and real estate to be generational wealth, then why are you doing the deal the way you're doing the deal with equity partners? They're harder to get out than you think. What's big money investing? If you're really going to do a millionaire plan, which I'm going to help you do in year 18, 24 months, what are we talking about? What does big money mean to you? So of the 7 questions, number 4, who has oversight? Who's going to be the bookkeeper, the accountant? Do you at least give you access to the bank accounts, all of the transparency? Number 5, what are the economics? Are they sound? Have you reviewed them with your mentor, with, again, your accountant? And I'm not going to just say accountant and lawyers casually, because there are accountants and lawyers who have no business experience. They have no real estate experience. They should not be advising you. You need to find better experts who actually live and breathe the work in the conversation that you're asking them about. And then what's the business plan say? Is there a plan to take a asset and actually grow it and monetize it? And then who's the team that's going to do it? Which I still think is the number 1 challenge with most projects, is you don't evaluate the team. That's a group of buddies, and you women, you do it with your girlfriends, and y'all come together to do a deal, and that isn't how you look for a team. You have marketing, sales, you have accounting, you have fulfillment, you have technology, you have customer service, you have operations. There's so much to do, not just a real estate transaction, but business. You need experts on all those categories, not just your friends. So be careful with that. So again, we reviewed where not to do any due diligence. We reviewed the 5 Ds of due diligence specifically, the 7 questions to ask. Before I'm going to give you the final 4 overarching umbrella critical pieces in due diligence, I want you to subscribe to my channel. Now, I've given a lot of varieties of content today, so you can always go up and search and say, I want to learn more about funding. I want to learn more about getting better credit, business credit. You can search a lot of money topics because I have a big breadth of content because I'm making you millionaires. And in this economy, year 18, 24-month millionaires is not difficult. My promise is 3 to 5 years of my Millionaire Maker book. So I'm speeding it up because we're in this economy. So do it now. Let's get to the 4th and final and critical. There are 4 big areas of due diligence that you really want to look at as an umbrella of over all of this is your finances, your personal finances, your access to finance, and your team's access to finance. It's absolutely imperative. The next place you want to look is operationally. Again, have you ever operated a real estate project? Have you done one? And I would say if you want to do one by yourself, that's actually the riskiest proposition. I want to do one by myself. Why? I would rather have you take $100,000 and find, 1 mentor, 4 projects, even 4 markets, and diversify $25,000 per project per market. You say, yeah, but that's really scattered. That's really different. I know, but if you have experts that are actually running those projects and you're more passive on the money while you're learning, which is how I did it. I came and I helped raise capital because I had a big database. And so from that capital, became a millionaire. Then I learned the real detail of the real estate transaction. So I think some of you, you're trying to jump in and do it all, and it's a lot to do by yourself. And to me, it's the riskiest proposition you could do. So the 3rd is the technology. You've got to use technology. I don't know how many people in real estate don't use technology. They don't use the databases. They don't use databases that are available. You can buy or seller databases, cash flow databases. You can buy a lot of databases to make this simpler. And legal and tax. So every transaction you go into, you got to look at the tax implications. There are things right now in opportunity zones. I'll be doing more videos and bringing in world-leading experts on opportunity zones. That's generational tax deference, huge opportunities. And then what's the legal structure? I can tell you, you've got to pay attention to the legal structure, and every piece of real estate you own should be parked into some sort of an entity for protection of you and the rest of your wealth. So, covered a lot of content, a lot of details, got a few things for you to do. I want you to get my form of the 5 Ds of due diligence, and more importantly, I want you to read through my blueprint. So it's actually a webinar. I'm going to talk for about 45 minutes to an hour about how I became a millionaire. I'm going to introduce you to some people that became millionaires in less than 3 years, and some of them multimillionaires. This is available to you. If you're serious, I'm serious. If you're a looky-loo and wandering around, good luck to you. Those of you who are serious, fill out the application at the end of the webinar, and let's have a conversation about you becoming a very quick real estate millionaire. The market time is now.